when you finished Revelation, you knew you were to be a Christian. Was there a temptation to go back to Mormonism at that point?
No. I think throughout my experience with Eastern mysticism and even scientism, the Mormon Church just became less and less credible. So there was immediately departing it where I had made up my mind. I could have been persuaded to go back, but the more I learned, the less and less Mormonism seemed to be true, and the more sort of silly it appeared to me.
Okay.
So I finished reading scripture. I decided, okay, I'm a Christian. I don't know how to be Christian. I don't know what it means to be Christian, but I know that Jesus Christ is God, and I know that I want to follow him. And I had no idea about the difference between Protestants and Catholics and Eastern Orthodox. I just knew that this is where I want to be. And it made sense for me at that time to just begin attending a church and start living as a Christian, whatever that looked like. So I just went to the closest church to me at the time, which was a Calvary Chapel. So non-denominational, more contemporary expression of Christianity. And so I'm walking in the door to go to church for the first time, and the pastor's there, and he stops me and introduces himself to me, and I ask him, I'm like, so what goes on here? What do you do? What am I supposed to do? And he says, this is here we do just pure exposition, which means I preach directly from the Bible, and that's all you're going to hear from me. And he uses this term, sola scriptura, and explains to me what that means. He's like, it's just Bible alone. That's all we do here. And having just finished reading the Bible and falling in love with that, I was like, perfect. That's all I need. That's all I want. So great. I went and sat down, and I enjoyed the music, and I enjoyed the preaching, and I went home and continued to do that week after week until eventually I asked him, I was like, I think I need to be baptized. And he's like, okay, great. I mean, we have something on the calendar. We're going to go out I was living in Florida at the time. He's like, we're going to go out and do it in the ocean.
I just watched Jesus Revolution with Calvary Chapel, and they were being baptized in the ocean.
So it was fitting. I've never seen that movie, but
it was way better than I thought it would
really?
be.
Okay.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
So we at this time, through the conversations that I'm having with my wife, she's a little bit more slow paced in her processing, but eventually she began going to church with me as well, and so we got baptized together in the ocean. With the Calvary Chapel pastor.
I want to say thank you to Hallow, which is the best, not just the best Catholic app on the App Store, any App Store, it's the best app out of any app that's ever existed, Catholic or otherwise. I think it's finally time to say that. If you want to grow in your prayer life, please check out hallow.com/Matt. If you sign up on their website at hallow.com/Matt, you can get the entire app for free for 90 days. That's ridiculous. After those 90 days, if you don't agree with me that it's worth the money that you're going to get charged after that monthly, which is a relatively small amount, you can just cancel. You won't be charged a cent. They have sleep stories. They have My Catholic Lo-Fi on there. They've just added the Gospels, a dramatized version of the Gospels. They have daily exegesis on mass readings, which you can listen to. It is fantastic. So if you haven't done it already, hallow.com/Matt, sign up over there. Try it for free for 3 months.
And so we got baptized together in the ocean with the Calvary Chapel pastor.
Had you repented of all of this previous stuff yet?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
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 Well, at what point did that happen?
Throughout. It was as I was reading scripture and having to confront my behavior and things that I assumed to be true. And, so I would retire. I mean, it was kind of funny. As prayer became something a little bit more normal to me, initially I was getting as far away as I was running into the woods, and I was going deep into the woods to find a place to pray. And, the first time I addressed Jesus in a prayer that was a big thing. But I remember just this overwhelming sense of peace and reassurance, just keep going. You're going to find more. You're going to find more of me. Just trust me. And, I rested in that. And the sense of peace and calm that was replacing that turmoil and that fear and confusion and anxiety that was there before was it was overwhelming. I mean, it felt like just being lulled, this is good. Everything about this is good. And, what I'm reading about Jesus is just beautiful. And I love him. And I can't really express why, because so much of what he's saying throughout the gospel is really frightening.
Yeah.
You know,
it really is. You
Yeah.
forget that sometimes. You
Yeah.
pick it up.
Uh-huh.
You're like, whoa, this is very different to the rainbows and butterflies account
Yeah.
of Jesus we're sometimes told. Yeah.
Mhm. You know, but then I read through Romans, and Romans 5, where it talks about how God loved us so much that even while we were still sinners, he sent his son to save us. And, you know, just recognizing that, like, I've been an absolute enemy to God,
Mm-hmm.
you know, just from my entire upbringing and not knowing, not accepting his divinity and who he is and what he does and how much he loves us, and assuming that he's just one God among many gods, and that he's a man who's got these similar limitations and perhaps was once a sinner like I'm a sinner. And it's just this really distorted and corrupted understanding of the goodness and perfection of God. And then leaving Mormonism, and then just outright rejecting his existence entirely, and being a rebel without a cause, and, you know, seeking to gratify myself and in every which way imaginable, and living a life of sin and secrecy, and then, you know, further down the path in this mystical phase where I'm equating myself with him, and, you know, being a rival and doing exactly what Adam and Eve were guilty of doing, you know, making themselves like God. And here I am, just trying to wrestle my way up this path and shed the things about myself and my assumptions of morality just to empower myself. And then here I am, I'm confronted with it, you know, just.
Did you get smacked across the face with a proverbial 2x4 when you read Satan say to Adam and Eve, you can be like gods?
Mm-hmm.
You're like, I don't remember reading this. It was on the first page.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you so much for watching. Before you go, do us a favor, leave a comment, let us know what you thought of the video, like, and subscribe.